Okay? So if you're confused, you're going to stay confused because this shit is not about content for me. Okay? I know the person who needs to hear this is going to hear this. And I mean this genuinely. Okay? I did everything for you. I helped you with everything. I fixed everything for you. I was there for you like nobody else was there for you in your whole life. Your words, not mine. The fact that you're letting these people get into your ear, people, the same people who are talking behind my back illegally, by the way, the same people who placed me under an NDA, where I cannot talk about them.
Okay, well, the NDA seal has been broken. He's referring to an NDA. He's violated the NDA. You are whoever the person is. Without I'm obviously not your attorney and I'm not giving legal advice, but if he's breaking terms of the NDA, you are now free and clear. Illegally, by the way. That's not NDAs offer there are no criminal penalties associated with breaking an NDA. An NDA is a civil manner only. NDAs also, there's a public policy exception to non-disclosure agreements. If a non-disclosure agreement is trying to prevent you from reporting crimes, the NDA is void as violating public policy interest. You can't make an NDA to cover up crimes. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, this is why going to law school is so great, because people could never intimidate me with law mumbo jumbo, because I went to law school. I know about that. And if I don't know about it, I know how to research it. I know how to go into a law library and look it up. Generally, NDAs will be enforced by a court, but some statutes and public policy may prevent the enforcement of an NDA. For example, many NDAs will be voided, or partially so, regarding criminal acts. Often, NDAs may be unenforceable unless certain procedural requirements are met. For example, the Speak Out Act of 2022 prevents the enforcement of NDAs regarding sexual harassment unless the NDA was signed after a dispute occurs, meaning that blanket NDA will not prevent disclosure in a new sexual harassment disputes. NDAs for sexual harassment will also not be bound to arbitration clauses. So the Speak Out Act of 2022. If you were sexually assaulted by someone, an NDA cannot be applied. Tectone's ex-girlfriend, Pinkchyu, accuses him of sexual assault. This isn't his ex-wife who accused him of being manipulative and abusive, but the girlfriend he got after his marriage who initially defended him from this accusation, but is now saying he was also manipulative and abusive towards her as well. Also, doesn't Tectone currently have a new girlfriend, Monka S? Didn't Tectone make his ex-wife sign an NDA? You can't NDA something illegal to my knowledge. That's correct. We talked about that. By the way, these people attacked me like yesterday. I didn't even notice. This is like honest to God truth. Tectone attacked me yesterday, and he's so irrelevant, and his viewers, I don't think they actually exist, because I got no smoke. Like, absolutely, like, I didn't even know he was attacking me. I just broke a clip. I didn't even know, fuck. I didn't even know I was using it as a fidget. I didn't even know he was attacking me, because he's got no viewership. There's absolutely no smoke. It's like it didn't even happen. How did you know he had skeletons? You said it like a few weeks ago. Listen. Everybody knew Tectone had skeletons. I wasn't saying anything that people didn't already know. It seems like his viewers might not be real. I mean, you would think like Tectone with Dan Can't Stream doing a big expose against me would result in me getting like a bunch of smoke. But honestly, there wasn't anything there. It's almost like those viewers don't exist. Right? Like, and I have a 60-minute follower mode right now. People could hop in, you know, you hit follow and then you wait an hour and then you can chat. It's not like it's some sort of impossible follower mode. And there just isn't a Tectone fan that exists. And one of those things, the thing about clout, and this is something that TradeRex said the other day, is that there's some people spending like thousands and thousands of dollars a month on bots. That's crazy to me. One of the things that I use is my viewership as a signal to whether what I'm doing is being successful or not. Now, I don't let viewership tell me what to say because that would be bitch made. But if like my viewership is going down, especially relative to my peers, it means that what I'm doing is not resonating. And I need to reflect and see if it's like just, is it a secular reason or is it something that is something that I'm doing and then work on changing it. Buying bots basically makes it so you can't succeed because you're not getting that information. I could guarantee you that once Asmund catches wind of this, he will absolutely stab Tectone in the back and call for him to be removed from the after an investigation. Rich Campbell was one of his best friends and he didn't blink once it came out. I mean, how many of his friends can be sexual assaulters? Like, how many people can you have that are close to you that are sexual assaulters? It's like weird, man. Maybe like there needs to be a little bit more of a thorough investigation of like the organization in general if all these major members are getting accused. Let's read Tectone's the allegations being made by his ex-girlfriend. Obviously she wants it to be talked about so she could get justice. So I'm going to read the accusations on Tectone, and we're going to talk about it seems like there's a faction that's entrenched in OTK that's particularly, I don't think it's OTK. Like, I like some of the people on OTK. I don't think it's that there is a faction of a group of guys that where sexually harassing and assaulting women is normalized. Peach Jars never wrong. Peach Jars never wrong. Because there's so many cool people like Will and Sear and Peach Jars and people like that. And I was always like, why are people that cool associated with people like Tectone? It never made sense to me. You know, Nick is cool. Like, those people are cool. And I just couldn't. Extra Emily is cool. It's just like, why are Wake, you know, Woke Wilder is cool as hell. I love Wake. Like, these people are all really awesome. And SVED is pretty cool as well. I just never understood why they were associated with somebody like Tectone. It felt like he was really dragging down the reputation of the organization the whole time. You know what I mean? And there are other people that I don't know and I don't watch because I don't watch all the OTK people, but I just never understood it. It's because he was Rich Campbell's friend. Oh. There's always bad actors in every organization. So true, Big Fig, Josh. So true. Okay, let's read these allegations. How are you supposed to feel if a guy is abusive and makes you cry, then shoves your head onto his crotch and demands you suck him off, and his excuse is, emotion just turns me on when you cry? Trigger warnings for everybody going forward. I didn't realize it was going to be coming off at 100,000 degrees. Trigger warning, guys. Yeah, I apologize for not saying that earlier. Jesus Christ. Or when you ask him that you don't feel comfortable doing something sexual, he records you and demands you stop making faces and pretend you like it. That's just rape. Or you say you don't want to do it anymore and he shoves your head down till you throw up. That's called rape. This is vile. Guilt trips you to giving BJs and says, do your job, you don't pay rent. I took you to a water park, so you owe me. And all you could do is sleep upstairs because you know what he's going to keep telling you to do. This is just rape. This is sexual coercion. This is disgusting. And by the way, every guy knows that this is wrong. This isn't something where you're like, oh, he just didn't know. He wasn't raised right. Every single man knows this is wrong. This is what gives men a bad name, is defending guys like this. This is clear-cut accusations. If these accusations are true, he's a criminal rapist. He doesn't touch you, he doesn't have sex with you, just keeps you around as a BJ machine and degrades you. Makes you feel ugly. Don't wear baggy clothes, straighten your hair, or at least wear eyeliner around the house. Your self-worth totally crushed. I think this guy is an abuser. To be fair, Tone's dad is real, and I mean real piece of work. It doesn't defend sexual assault. Can we delete the we won? Yeah, sorry about that, chat. I didn't even know. You're so right. You're so right. That was my old title. You're right. Thank you, chatter, for that. He's talking, you don't feel comfortable doing something sexual. He records you and demands you stop making faces and pretend you like it. I see comments that are worried. I just want to let you know I am out and have my own place and I'm safe. Don't want to worry anyone. I've been taking it one day at a time since that. I hate that people warned me. I didn't listen because I was so manipulated. I hate that I was lied to when another girl who went through worse was trying to come forward. Me and her are good now, but I should have listened. When you're in it, you feel blind to reason. He's so clearly tripling down by using very obvious abuser language.
Okay? So if you're confused, you're going to stay confused. Because this shit is not about content for me. Okay? I know the person who needs to hear this is going to hear this. And I mean this genuinely. Okay? I did everything for you. I helped you with everything. I fixed everything for you. I was there for you like nobody else was there for you in your whole life. Your words, not mine. The fact that you're letting these people get into your ear, people, the same people who are talking behind my back illegally, by the way, the same people who placed me under an NDA, where I cannot talk about them. I know they're talking to you right now behind the scenes. And they're getting you to believe in bullshit. You're talking to retard after retard, letting them get in your head and make you imagine problems that never happened. And it's insane how these things that have happened in your own mind, you are now coming at me. Okay? So if you're confused, you're going to...
I love that he slipped in the slurs there. Just in case anybody might have been persuaded, he just made himself look even worse. This is basic abuser language. First of all, the idea of like, you need me. I did everything for you. Like, this is bottom of the barrel abuser manipulation tactics. What a scumbag. It only gets worse after this.
And it's insane how these things that have happened in your own mind, you are now coming at me, and this just isn't cute. So, I am going to leave it at this. My lawyer is going to be contacting your lawyer, the same lawyer that I helped you get because you were scared. I'm not fucking around with this shit. This shit's retarded. If you want to do this shit, then let's...
By the way, I will help pay for the defense. We should raise... is there any other content creators who are going to help me? If she needs assistance with legal fees, I will help. I don't know how much it is going to cost, but I'm pretty sure that we'll be behind you. We will fucking help you. If you're being threatened by this predator, I want you to speak freely and honestly. Obviously, I can't, I don't want you to make, I can't promise to completely indemnify you from, but I will contribute some money to any like lawyer fees that you need. And we will try to find, here's the thing about these NDAs. Here's the thing about these type of things. He's bluffing. I'm not your lawyer. I can't give you legal advice. But when these predators do these NDA things, they're bluffing. Because the last thing he wants is you to countersue on defamation and then having discovery. And then you can get into every message he's ever sent. You could get into his Discord messages. You could get into his private messages. You could get into his text messages. You could try to prove that he broke the NDA by talking about the NDA. Like, if you really get into this, especially if it's about covering up sex crimes, and I would suggest filing a police report as well. I would suggest filing a police report because what I heard at least sounds like something that needs to be investigated. Using physical force and threats to coerce someone into sex acts, that's a crime.
Let's do this shit. But I can't sit here and hear your dumbass schizo the fuck out, which I thought you were medicated for. I guess not. Schizo the fuck out repeatedly.
This is just standard abuser behavior, which is like he's talking about her having mental illnesses to try to discredit her. This is some of the most disgusting crash out shit I've ever seen. I can't believe a company like I can't believe OTK wants to be associated with this kind of behavior. This is vile. I like OTK. Like, these guys come on there, and when we're talking about a genocide happening in Gaza and how we're opposed to it and we want peace, this motherfucker comes out and calls us all sorts of slurs. And then, this is who Dan Can't Stream associates with. His investor is Diddy Combs. And then he comes on Twitch to just attack me on, you know, this unwatched Tectone stream.
So enjoy. My lawyer will be contacting your lawyer, and we're going to shut this shit down right the fuck now. Because this is ridiculous. I tried to be cordial. I tried to be nice. I tried to be happy. I tried to help.
Oh, I'm going to sue you for... oh, my Lord.
Help you. And that's the way that you're going to repay me? Great. Check your phone messages. You'll be hearing from...
Pink ran away from a super conservative household to be able to stream Twitch as a job. She is a super sweet theater kid, a great voice actor too. Does he think this comes across as normal? He sounds deranged. This is intimate, horrible shit. I don't know. Send him to court. Tectone mic drop. It's his second ex. I mean, when two women back to back are accusing you of this shit, I think being quiet is a better strat, man.
My lawyer very soon. Fucking ridiculous. We're shutting this shit the fuck down. Okay? I am so tired of this whole internet thing where I live my life very honestly, very truthfully. I assist everybody that I fucking know. The same people who I help the most end up fucking me the hardest. And it happens
Can you consider not sexually coercing people and abusing them? Everybody around me hates me is kind of a sign that maybe you're doing something a little bit wrong.
After year after year, and everyone wants to pretend that I'm the bad guy. I'm done being the good guy. I'm locking this shit the fuck down. This shit ain't con.
When is he's a good guy gonna start? When did that period start? This is the same shit he always says. He always swears he's the best friend to people who stab him in the back later. Yeah. From what I heard, he does pay for a lot of his friends' things, but it looks like he uses that as a shield for his abuse. Yeah, that's getting leverage. Understanding the cycle of abuse. Tension building phase or the pressure mounts. During this phase, minor incidents and conflicts begin to escalate. The abuser may start to show signs of anger, hostility, or irritability. Victims feel like they're walking on eggshells, trying to prevent an outburst. Like, let's see if we can talk about this. Gifts. Reconciliation. Following the violent incident, the abuser often becomes remorseful, apologetic, and loving. They may promise change and shower the victim with affection, gifts, or gestures of remorse. Like, this is like, oh, I pay for a lot of your stuff. You can't criticize me, is part of this cycle.
Then to me, and enjoy that. Enjoy that. Fuck this shit. It's exhausting. And this whole internet mentality where anybody can make up anything about me and people believe it with zero fucking proof. Zero fuck.
Why do you need an NDA then? That's why do you need an NDA? That's just defamation, right? If somebody's defaming you, you don't need an NDA. You don't have to have an agreement, right? Like if somebody is defaming you, you could just go after them, right? NDAs are to keep information you don't want public private. Certified snake shirt is a interesting one.
Fucking sources, guys. I had 2 other fucking roommates during all this shit. If any of that shit fucking happened, I'd be in fucking jail. Retarded.
The I'm not in jail yet defense is fascinating. The he's not in jail yet defense is that's very much the Drake defense. He's too famous to get away with this.
Don't touch me.
I'm patient.
No, you're fucking not. You're like the most impatient, moody fucker I've ever met.
I'm patient when it comes to you.
Freem, I carry our marriage, and you know that. Freem, you know that.
I think we have a pretty 50-50 marriage.
You're high. You're high. You're kidding. On stream? Is this content? Or wait, you're kidding, Graham. You think so?
I think I help.
I'm not saying you don't help, but you think it's 50-50? Oh my God. Ever heard of jerkmate? Explain. Explain.
I mean, okay.
I would unironically say I'm probably one of the best husbands on planet Earth.
You're a very good husband.
No. I wouldn't say very good. I would say one of the best. I would say I'm goated with the fucking sauce.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, you carry in social aspects, I carry in the back end tech stuff.
Okay, first of all, can I just say this? When you're on stream, you're inherently putting people under coercion to kind of, like, especially when it's your stream, to kind of go along with what's going on. You're putting, like, this social and public pressure on them. And having, like, fights with people, like, especially, like, intimate fights with your wife, is completely inappropriate behavior for a streamer to do. Luckily, she's been freed.
And I feel like together we make a good team.
No, wait. Okay, I'm talking about marriage.
Okay?
Marriage, not tech stuff.
I mean, our marriage still includes our business relationship with me helping with your career. Because that's a big part of our marriage.
No, but
the subathon is a big part of our marriage.
I'm saying take job out. Take jobs out. Sure, you help me with tech stuff for my career, sure. But marriage, dude, I am the conflict resolution god.
Yeah, you are.
100%.
No, 100% you are.
I am the greatest shoulder to cry on. I am the greatest consoler. I'm understanding everything. The romantic shit I do is crazy. Like, are you...
She scoffed.
Why are you giggling?
She scoffed.
Why are you laughing?
Just saying Techie likes the back end, huh?
Frim.
Oh, they're okay, Superman.
Frim, you know beyond a shadow that I am an incredible husband.
I never said that you weren't.
But you never said that I was.
Okay, you are an incredible...
Like, first of all, chat. Again, the dynamics of pressuring your wife, who you support financially, to, like, with like, this is uncomfortable.
husband.
I agree, and I am so understanding of all of your wants and needs. All of them. And
The moment, like, by the way, this is Narcissism 101, just so you guys understand. He's trying to maintain his narcissistic frame, right? Like, if you were actually a normal, good husband, your wife criticizing you mildly or disagreeing with you doesn't cause you to freak out. It causes you to be like, oh, okay, what's going on? Right? As long as they're not abusing you, your wife having some slight disagreements, like, you can feel the tension. You can feel how insecure she looks. Like, look at her face. But a narcissist has to have control over their public persona. So anything that shakes that causes what's called a narcissistic crisis. This is very uncomfortable stuff.
How accommodating I've been is insane.
Where does this confidence come from? If you are a person who is... I'm going to say something that you guys need to understand. And it's going to sound harsh. You guys need to be less empathetic and more compassionate. Okay? Less empathy, more compassion. Empathy is where you feel someone else's pain. Compassion is where you actually help someone. And narcissists feast on your fucking empathy. They create a frame, they create an emotional blackmail, and they put you in a box, and they say, feel my feelings. And if you're an empathetic person, it's very easy for you to fall into that trap. That's why narcissists feast on empathetic people. You need to stop letting them do that, and start addressing reality as it is. Stop falling into their fucking frames and their emotional blackmail and their emotion. You're not responsible for other people's emotional condition unless you aggress them, unless you are attacking them, unless you are constraining them in some way, right? It's not your job to always emotionally maintain the other person. Doesn't mean treat them poorly. And it is good to console people. It's good to be there for people. It's good to have a shoulder to cry on, but it's not your job to adopt their perspective. The confidence of mediocre white men is real. I don't think this is about being white. I don't think this is about being a man. Because Tectone wants me to talk like that. I'm a white man. I don't act like this. In fact, when narcissistic freaks act like that towards me, I get surprised. And I don't even like, it takes me a couple minutes to like recognize it. Because I'm one of those people that's open to criticism. I'm open to listening to when people are like, oh, you did this wrong, or you made me feel this. I care about other people. So I listen to that. And sometimes bad faith actors can take advantage of that to do abusive behaviors toward me. It takes me a minute, but then I defend myself and I say, fuck off. You know? It is what it is. Fresh from the oven.
Tectone. We don't really have much to say about him. He told me to hype him up, but
they were playing Not Like Us when Tectone came out. They were playing Not Like Us when I knew. Okay, chat. I've been hearing some whispers. Okay. I'm not within these circles. Like, I'm not in the OTK inner circle, but even I was hearing a little bit of chatter. So when Tectone brought on Dan Can't Stream to like harass me and attack me, I was like, interesting. That's interesting. I guess he's trying to deflect. But I guess people didn't want to reveal things before the abused speaks out. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to, if somebody is a victim, your number one goal is to make them safe and protect them. So what I'm guessing, the reason why I heard the whispers is I think the victim was ready to come forward and started talking to people behind the scenes, and then other people started to like spread the message. Because everybody was waiting for the victim to come forward. They didn't want to step on the victim's testimony, right? It's not our job to do that, right? I still think that they should have done something earlier. I don't think people knew at this point, by the way. I don't think Seer knew. I don't think any of the other members of OTK knew this. I just think they don't like him at all.
Why are you not saying anything?
I'm saying, mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. Uh-huh. Of course.
So for like marriages and emotions and understanding and communication, I would say I do about 90% of that.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Then the majority of marriage is communication.
Yes.
I'm just saying, dude, when it comes to emotions, dealing with our issues and fucking...
Okay, when it comes to emotions and dealing with our issues, yes, you
Let's
are
go and
carrying. But I'm looking at a whole.
By the way, the narcissist being like, I'm the best on the emotions and I know how to do that, and like telling your spouse how they're bad and how they're dumb and how they're not good at their emotions. Classic gaslighting behavior. I'm good on the emotions part. I run the emotions of a marriage, and you do the slave work. You do all the grunt work while I'll do the high level stuff like choosing which emotions are important.
Like, you help me out, I help you out.
What did the brain domain say? We've got ourselves a therapist in the chat. Do you want to hop on and maybe talk to me about narcissism and about some of the things? Because you are a trained therapist, do you want to hop on and explain it? Because okie dokie. Okay, jump into my Discord. And we could talk about this. Hello everybody. This is the brain domain.
Oof. Oh, hello everybody.
Everybody say hi.
Oof.
All right, hold
Hi
on.
everybody.
Let me throw you in the title. I want to make sure that everybody...
Hi everybody. Good to see you. Some of you know who I am. Mike and I, we're best friends.
Oh, are we?
I thought so. Is this news to you?
No, no. I mean, I think of you as a great and best friend. Sure.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna say no.
Hey, I'm a high value friend. Okay.
All right. So the reason I wanted to bring you on is, like, I'm just a learned amateur, a self-taught, an autodidact in the ways
real smarty pants
of
psychology and narcissism and abuse tactics.
Yeah. And I, you know, as somebody who took like psychology level classes and undergrad, you know, I don't have any real depth to my knowledge, you know. And you have a master's degree, right? In psychology.
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know a little bit stuff. Yeah. Obviously Twitch is a place that's full of narcissists. The website caters to that type of person. You know, you gotta be at least a little bit narcissistic to hit that go live button.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think narcissistic traits are as a minimum, because like,
oh yeah,
especially when you look at most streamers, you know, it's like, can you imagine the most mediocre person who at video games ever going, people should want to see this gameplay, and then they are like struggle to read tooltips. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like there's a few gamers who are like, you know, legitimately next level, and they're like the best gamer in the fucking planet, and I totally respect those people for streaming that, you know. But most of the, you know, gaming streamers are like, I don't know if we're gonna do medium difficulty. Maybe we should try this on easy, you know. And it's like, okay, why do you think 10,000 people should be watching this? But they do it,
right?
They do it,
right?
You know, and so there has to be a certain level of like narcissistic trait. And I'm definitely guilty of that as well, right? Like,
well, hey, if you're going to be a narcissist, at least be a self-aware narcissist. That's what I always say.
Well, I mean, it's better than just going through life not knowing. And I think it's it's like a morality test, right? Like, you could see that there's flaws in your personality, and you have you have tendencies, and then you kind of like check yourself, and you go like, okay.
Yeah,
you know,
because narcissism, it's a defense mechanism. It's, you know, a deep-seated insecurity, and you have to project this image of greatness so that you can feel good about yourself.
Everybody hit the follow button as well. Okay, so what makes a person a narcissist? And okay, so what do you think we should talk about in regards to Tectone? Should we talk about narcissism, or should we talk about abuser cycles, or like what resources should we be looking at to understand this kind of behavior, and so that we can detect it in our own lives, and we can make people around us safe? And when somebody's being abused, we can kind of like see it. We can see the warning signs and intervene.
Actually, this is something I talk about a lot on stream, because, you know, we're becoming much more aware of these types of behaviors. Like, ever since Donald Trump was elected president, just the idea of what a narcissist can really accomplish in the world has been, you know, much more in the forefront.
Classic. Okay, so what do you think? What should we dive into first? You talk about this a lot on your stream. Narcissism, abuse. What's the best way to understand the Tectone's behavior?
The two often go very hand in hand. You don't normally see abusive people who don't also show narcissistic traits. Like, just because you have narcissistic traits doesn't mean you necessarily have narcissistic personality disorder. That's just a whole other like level of these types of behaviors.
Right.
But you don't normally see abusers who don't demonstrate some level of narcissism, because it's about controlling the narrative. It's about controlling your self-image. It's about controlling other people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like, isn't that really what narcissism is largely about? Like, narcissism is largely about control.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, if you want to get down to just like evolution, like, humans love to control stuff. It's why we have thumbs. We want to be able to hold on to stuff. We want to be able to manipulate things. We want to be able to have control over stuff. And when we don't have control over stuff, it makes us stressed out. And so you see a lot of problems in people stemming from just this feeling of like, they feel like they're lacking control.
I think one of the things that really disturbs me about the whole Tectone stuff is that, you know, he immediately joined in on attacking me and Hassan. Like, he was happy to join in, right? Because he was currying favor with Asmongold and Destiny, right? Because he could feel that the pressure was going to happen, you know what I mean? And so he was trying to get more communities to like buy into him, so that when the allegations came out, they would have sunk cost fallacy of our focus.
So funny how everyone just tolerates him and just subtly shows the way that they dislike him.
Well, I'm not really sure. Like, what is the reason that? Can someone give me a lore dump as to why Tectone exists? Like, was
I
he
heard
a good gamer? Like, what was the?
I
what
thought he
the
was
reason?
just friends with Rich Campbell. That's what I heard.
How did they become friends?
Birds of a feather flock together.
He was a lolly gotcha gamer.
Disgusting.
That is the least surprising piece of information I've ever heard in my entire life. He has the physical traits of a gotcha game bro to a T. His computer should be searched by the FBI immediately.
Mm-hmm.
He was on those Among Us streams during COVID too. God, I watched a bunch of that content. I never remember him. Was he bad? Was he stab bait? Like, was he like lowest replacement level like player?
Yes. How about we talk about some signs and symptoms of narcissistic behavior, and then you can kind of
go
put the
ahead,
piece.
go
You can
ahead.
start putting the pieces together. Something that's often seen in narcissistic abuse relationships is love bombing. You know, the initial stages of the relationship are, you know, they're very giving, they're very attentive, they're very romantic. They want to sweep you off their feet. You know, they want to prove their worth to you. They want to, you know, find their in is what they're trying to do. They get their claws in. And so this tracks, you know, we saw that happening here, you know, just, but also, it's gross to think about. You know, you have to, in order to like understand this type of person, you have to like try to think the way that they think. And it's so gross, you know? And so I understand why people don't normally like to think about this kind of stuff. But you also see a lot of gaslighting here, just making the other person feel like they're crazy, you know, and this was also happening here, just being like, take your meds, you're crazy, you know, blaming them because they have autism, that sort of thing. You know, devaluation, you know, you're making this person feel less than. You're going to criticize them, belittle them, humiliate them, erode their self-esteem. And I feel like part of the reason why, you know, these types of people jump to attack people like you or Hassan is because both of you have consistently been willing to hold yourselves accountable. You know, whenever you
Thanks, bud.
do something out of line, or, you know, you take things too far, you know.
Yeah, like when I made
you
that
learn,
joke,
you grow.
When I made that joke about what's his face, even though I didn't make any threat, it was still over the line of acceptable behavior. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we just don't want to see that kind of stuff on Twitch.
Yeah.
You don't want to create a community or an audience of people like that, you know, where,
yeah,
you know, people are making these kind of jokes or implications. And so I totally agree with me getting punished. You know, okay, I think I figured it out, chat.
Oh, you got it. Hey, everybody.
Everybody say hi to the brain domain.
Kisses.
And so, like, okay, so let's talk about, what do you think is the first thing we should talk about? Talk about abusers, Tectone in particular, or narcissism? Like, what is the best way to
where do we begin? Where do we begin? I mean, do you want to take a look at the allegations themselves, and we can kind of see how those line up?
Yeah. So the main allegations that we have are from I guess it's Pinkchyu. How do you say that? Is that Pinky? Some people have been calling her Pinky. Well, how should it Pinkchyu? I don't know how to do the ooh noise. I never learned how to do the ooh.
Can you give us your best ooh?
No, I can't.
Not until we hit the sub goal.
No. I don't care about money today. You know what? I already showed
Mike from anime.
It is what it is. You know, we don't have to worry about that. Okay. So she says, how are you supposed to feel if a guy is abusive and makes you cry, then shoves your head onto his crotch and demands you, okay, trigger warning, obviously.
Ugh.
And demands you suck him off.
This makes me retch.
And his excuse is emotion just turns me on when you cry. Okay. The first thing that I want to flag here is she's saying, how are you supposed to feel? That breaks my heart.
Right? It's like
Because
there's a
it's
very
like-
clear way that you should feel about this.
You should feel attacked. You should feel traumatized. You should feel angry. You should feel sad. You should feel like you could go to your friends and your support network and your family and say, I was abused and attacked and I need your help. And
Right.
the fact that she feels she's questioning how she's supposed to feel. You were assaulted.
Yeah.
And the fact that
And
there's
this
nobody
is-
in her
yeah.
life that she feels she could find safety in is why she was used as an abuse target.
Yeah. I've worked a lot with abuse victims, and there's just such a level of like dismantling that happens with their self-esteem and their self-worth and the validity of how they're supposed to feel about things. And, you know, they feel alone, they feel hopeless, they feel like if I do talk to people, like they're going to blame me, or, you know, it's my fault for allowing it to happen. And it's like, no, it's like you were the victim here.
The other thing I want to say is the relational aggression. Now, chat, if you don't know what relational aggression is, it is a model of behavior where it's a form of aggression for social groups where a person will go around and they'll attack someone, you know, they'll attack somebody's character with rumors and stuff
Yep.
behind the scenes. Not publicly, so the person could address them and see who's attacking them and, like, you know, confront them and publicly refute what's being said. It's a way of like trying to poison the well with as many people as possible. And it seems
It's
that,
triangulation.
yeah.
This is what it is. Yeah.
So let's review this other thing. This is from November 11th, which was 10 days ago. After everything this man has done to hurt me, you'd think he'd move on. Let me heal and live my life. His buddy's harassment campaign failed, so now he can't get over that I'm doing better off without him. Move on. After some thought, this individual doesn't deserve my attention or stream audience. He'll just turn it into drama. So here's my response and my final warning. I'm asking now for you to stop mentioning me on stream and attacking my character. I am not a liar, and I know, and you know all the things you did. So for your best interest, stop saying my name and sending me harassment. You are trying to bait me into drama, but you're honestly not worth my time. There's a reason you have the reputation you do, and attacking me isn't going to fix it. Now kindly back off and move on. Now, this is what she said 10 days ago, and now we have
That's such a graceful and kind way to address such a terrible situation. Like, I could not see myself being that patient. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'm going to be honest. The thing about these types of people, chat, is that if you're normal or like closer to normal, you just don't have the energy for this shit.
Yeah.
You would rather do like literally anything else than this. You know what I mean? You just want to go and like relax or go out with your friends and your family, or, you know, spend on a project you want to do, or go out to have a nice meal, or just take a nap. Like, you don't have that narcissistic, sociopathic drive to constantly be policing your, you know, how you're perceived, and you just have, like, that's the main advantage these narcissists have, is that, and these sociopaths, it's the drive.
Yep.
That's their evolutionary advantage, because since they're just talking so much more than you and they're working so much harder to push their narrative, more people are going to hear it. And from the mere exposure effect, a percentage of people are going to believe a narrative when they hear it. So the more people you get to hear your narrative, the more people are going to be believing it. And so they have that, and that is such a tremendous home court advantage for the narcissist on the form of like reputational damage.
Yeah. And then you've also got anchoring bias, recency bias, you know, just it works in their favor, you know, to just the first thing you hear is normally the thing that people tend to cling to.
Yeah, and you know, I've experienced it as well with my name, right? Like people will be like, "Oh, Mike is bad because he's mean," or something like that. Or he had debates. And it's be like, what debate? What thing? What when was I mean? What did I do exactly? Like, and it's just, but it's a miasma. And then they spread that miasma to other people. And we all can't investigate every claim that's made about another person that comes into our cone of vision. But as long
Right.
as you're kind of spreading that filth about someone, you're going to do them harm.
Right.
Can you ask Brain about PTSD and can make you act calm in these situations? I have complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and I don't act strangely like people expect due to trauma responses. I worry people see something acting sadly, engaging with an abuser, and think nothing was wrong.
Yeah, it's like a survival response. It's something you learn to process and handle those high stress moments. Is you're basically just able to detach. You know, think of like what a surgeon can do when they're having to like cut into a human being. They're able to dissociate from that, and they're able to focus on the task at hand.
Let's go back to this and reading more of
Isn't
the
this just,
accusations because we
like,
got off on a
Isn't this just
tangent on that.
disgust you though? Like, isn't this just so gross? Just like the more you hear about it, you're just like, but it's also kind of completely unsurprising.
Well, I think the pattern of behavior is the one that's the most concerning because it's like he has this ex. Like, can you imagine having your exes sign an NDA? Let's all stop for a second. That's fucking weird. Okay. You aren't LeBron James, okay? You're not somebody that people care about. You know what I mean? Like, this is not somebody that's going to be selling magazines because of the tell-all. This is Tectone, who's an orbiter of an orbiter, you know, who plays lowly gotcha games. Like, nobody gives a shit about you, okay? The NDA is only there because you've done stuff. You're trying to intimidate your ex from speaking about your relationship. That's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, it just makes you think that there's something that they're trying to hide.
I don't know anything about these games. I don't play gotcha games. I don't know what gotcha or gotcha even means. I'm sorry for all the people that like those games, but Tectone is what people think of when they think about people who play those games. I'm sorry.
Oh no, absolutely. Just like
let's
lolly
continue.
gambling games.
Yeah. It short for gachapon. It's those plastic bubble machines where you can get a toy. Okay, or when you asking that you don't feel comfortable doing something sexual, and he records you and demands you stop making faces and pretend you like it.
Ugh.
Okay, so like non-consensual recordings. That sounds like abusive behavior to me.
And this is also a way to like cover your own tracks, is to be like, well, I've got you on video here saying that you like it. So if you do go tell somebody about it, I'm going to show them this video, and then that's going to discredit you.
Also, yeah, like taking non-consensual sexual videos is also blackmail because it's like you can show someone's like that's deeply personal and private. We don't want sexual content that's made about us to be released unless we consent to it. And especially when somebody's a sex worker or sex worker adjacent, people, you know, there's a lot of misogynists out there who think like, oh, you sold sex once, or you took a risque photo once, so now anybody can, you know, look at videos whether they're consensual or not. So like, it's a way of kind of like getting more leverage over the person by being like, you know,
and it's a dehumanization tactic.
Yeah.
You know, you're making this person look like they don't deserve the rights that a human deserves. You don't have to treat them with dignity because they showed naked pictures of themselves once.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, Tectone is very much an anti-feminist. I think he would say that himself, right? And feminism, you know, gets a bad rap on the online space. But what it technically is a belief that women should have equal rights to men and have equal status in society. Like, that's what feminism means. So
feminism is equality, and a lot of people will try to say that it's female superiority, but that's just just completely untrue.
Well, I mean, yeah. So when somebody comes out, and like, if you're not somebody who's super aware of what it means, I could understand based on like the internet, you know, SJW stereotype that's intentionally made to be manipulative and you know, show you examples of people that believe a certain thing but find them being cringe, or find people that aren't aesthetically attractive, or people that are, you know, emotionally upset. You strip it of context, you show it to people, it's going to seem inappropriate. It's going to trigger our kind of monkey brain reactions of seeing a troop member who is like freaking out, and our reaction is like, whoa, separate, de-escalate, that troop member is dangerous, because we're, you know, that's how we evolved. It's a deep-seated bias that we have. So when people intentionally and dishonestly select that to represent a group, they're doing so with the intention of tricking you for their own benefit. And somebody like Tectone, as you can see, you know, a pattern of abusive behavior, you know?
Yep.
Or you say you don't want to do it anymore and he shoves your head down till you throw up. So this to me is rape.
That is. No means no. Like, full stop.
Like, here's me bringing up the DOJ on no means no, withdrawal of consent during intercourse, and the continuing evolution of the definition of rape. This article argues that the California-Illinois rape law, which redefined non-consent in sexual cases to include situations where consent is withdrawn after penetration, are important steps in protecting the rights of sexual assault victims. This was written back in 2004. This has become more and more common.
Yeah.
But basically, when you say, like, if you're having sex with someone and you change your mind and you say, hey, listen, I'm not really feeling it, I want to stop, and they keep going, that's rape.
Yeah.
Guilt trips you into giving BJs and says, do your job, you don't pay rent. I took you to a water park, so you owe me. And all you could do is sleep upstairs because you know what he's going to keep telling you to do.
That's the whole water park thing. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So I get to sexually assault somebody because I took them to a water park?
Oh, whoops. Sorry, Chad. I broke that. I mean, it is the, you know, it's when he was talking to his wife, he was like, I'm the best husband. I'm the most romantic husband. And I could see this same kind of thing. Like, I took you to a water park. Where's my, you know, I put the coins of affection in. Where's my sexual reward? Very transactional, very like weird, very dehumanizing. His volume is a lot louder. Okay, hold on. Let me adjust that.
Nobody knows marriage like me.
Let me just adjust
Nobody's more romantic than me. Nobody does conflict resolution like I do. Many people are saying this.
Yeah. He doesn't touch you, doesn't have sex with you, just keeps you around as a BJ machine and degrades you. Interesting. I mean, like, huh.
This just sounds like a person that doesn't view women as people.
Well, I've heard things that there's a certain type of guy who pretends that they get off from not giving sexual pleasure to women. And it's like, oh, it's just a degrading sex act where the woman gets nothing out of it. And I always thought of that as kind of like cope. He ain't got the skills. He can't hit the back walls. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, not caring about the partner, you know, like if he pretends not to care about her pleasure, and when he doesn't give her pleasure, he can cope narcissistically with, oh, if I wanted her to come, I could make her come. But the fact that she never comes is because I don't want her to. So he's basically kind of reversing the, he's reversing the situation. That sounds like a narcissistic conception, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's like he's coping with his own insecurities because he's clearly not good at sex. Like, just look at him. You can tell, like, this guy doesn't know how to lay it down. Like, period. So,
Yeah. We did Chaotic Priest. We did watch Tectone's, we did watch his response, which was basically insults, a lot of slurs, a lot of R slurs, a lot of threats, a lot of promises of legal action, and mentions of NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. So it seems
nothing
like
to
Tectone
really get the water, nothing really to get you wet.
Yeah,
like an NDA.
Well, it seems to me that it's like a pattern of behavior, right, with the NDA, because it's another way of getting leverage over a person, because most people are not legally trained, right? Lawyers are expensive. So when you are like throwing around legal paperwork and you're threatening people with NDAs, you're taking videos non-consensually, it's like it's about building a paper trail to try to, you know, quite frankly, it seems, build an alibi.
Yep. And they put a lot of time and effort and thought into this process, and a lot of people don't because we're not narcissistic, manipulative abusers. Right. But this is what they do. This is how they think. And this is why they put all of this like planning and preparation into their abuse, is because it's what allows them to continue to abuse people.
Yeah, this was the guy who was the other day attacking me, Hassan, and Frogan on his stream. Because we don't support a genocide in Gaza. Now, I don't think, like, I've been, like, they've, like, kind of roped me in with the idea of anti-Semitism. I don't recall them ever having a quote of mine that's even close to what could be construed as anti-Semitism, because I'm very careful to make sure to distinguish between Jewish people and anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
And like, you know, and criticizing Israel.
Right.
As this is going the legal route, isn't it more reasonable to wait until passing judgment on either side, let the law work it out? That would imply I didn't know what the law was, and that the law oftentimes comforts the comfortable and afflicts the afflicted, and not really understanding what law is. So I think, you know, when an abuser is like running rampant on the platform that I'm on, and also spending his time trying to defame me, it's more important that we kind of like, you know, we investigate. We take a look.
Also, silence is violence. You know, silence does nothing except protect the abuser, because that's what they want from you. They want you to not talk about it.
I hate that people warned me. I didn't listen because I was so manipulated. I hate that I was lied to when another girl who went through worse was trying to come forward. Me and her are good now, but I should have listened. When you're in it, you feel blind to reason. I see comments that are worried, and I just want to let you all know I'm out and I have my own place and I'm safe. Don't want anyone to worry. Don't want to worry anyone. I've been taking it one day at a time since this. That's just terrible.
I just feel so bad because it's just, this is stuff I've seen before. Like, I've helped women in abusive situations, like get protective orders, like get their abusive husband out of the house, like teach them how to set boundaries, you know, and just the level of like degradation that they've had to endure. You know, they feel so defeated, so hopeless. It's so sad. And it just makes me so angry sometimes.
The attacks Tectone launches on Caseytron and Frogan have an extra layer of disgust from him that is clearly and transparently deep-rooted sexism. Yeah, he does make a lot of attacks on women's physical appearance, and it's like,
yep.
You know, it's kind of odd, right? Because it's like, look at this guy. Like, I'm not trying to claim to be some sort of super Lothario, the sexiest man of Twitch or anything myself. It's just to lead with attacking women on their physical appearance is really rich.
Yeah. This guy has the vibes where, like, if he shows up at the party, it's like, cover your drinks, ladies. Like, that's the vibe I get. Like, I just, you know,
He
I have
has
this
the vibe of like when he walks in, you walk up to him and say, "Who's your friend? Who invited you?
Where's my hug?"
Like no, like you, like he's the guy that you. That's why you have people lingering near the door to make sure nobody comes in. You know what I mean? Like when the house party's raging, you have a couple of people going like, "Oh yeah, who do you know?" And then like you turn them around, you move them out, you move them out of the way, you move them out, and you say, "Hey, he's not here. Go ahead and step outside and give him a call. If he's here, we'll let you in." Then you just close the front door.
Predators often hunt in packs. A lot of these types of guys, they do hang together.
What would you recommend for people that, like, how do we recognize abusive relationships? And when is it appropriate to intervene? How should one intervene? And, like, what advice do you have for people that might be in abusive relationships now and are struggling and looking for a way to, you know, get out or change their circumstance?
Relationships should make you feel good to be in them. That's the whole point of having a relationship.
His chat was more mad at Denims than you for talking about this because I'm a man and they're scared of two men talking about it. So of course they're going to go after the woman. Wow, the abuser chat is not mad at the man? That's a shock. That's a shock. I'm making my shocked face. You know, I have a couple thousand more viewers than Denims does right now, and I'm talking about this, and yet they're going past me to go yell at the woman. That's kind of odd. Doesn't this,
Typical.
you know, it's a little
Typical.
odd. Okay,
Says
anyway,
they're
sorry to
afraid of-
interrupt you.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
just
no,
wrote a
you're
chatter
good.
for no reason.
We were talking about how do you recognize this type of stuff? How do you protect yourself? Honestly, listen to your gut. You know, you have a billion years of evolutionary senses that help to protect you from predators. Listen to those feelings. You know, if you get a bad feeling about somebody, listen to that feeling.
So what about like tangible suggestions for somebody who's in an abusive relationship or recently left an abusive relationship? Do you recommend like formal things like restraining orders? Do you recommend things like, you know, finding an attorney? You know, oftentimes people that are abused are, you know, struggling financially. What can they do? What's a reasonable thing they can do?
You kind of have to come up with a plan to leave in a safe way, and then, you know, make sure you have all your boxes checked. You know, make sure you have all of your important documents. Make sure you've got, you know, a change of clothes. You know, have a bag. You know, have somebody that can help you as well, because this is something that's really difficult to do on your own. You know, so you're gonna need, you know, an emergency shelter or a friend or a family member, somebody that you can go to, somebody that can help to keep you safe. And going the legal route, you know, getting a protective order, not that they can, like, it's just a piece of paper at the end of the day, but it does still just show like that you do take it seriously and that they can act on it legally if it is violated. But like,
What do you think about the idea of journaling? If somebody's in an abusive relationship, what do you think about them like journaling or talking to a trusted friend and getting an outside perspective over time so they can, you know, when they can look back and see, you know, like sometimes abusers will say one thing one day and then a different thing another day. And if you have something like a journal or you have, you know, text messages to a friend, you could kind of, you know, you can combat that.
You want to, you know, get an idea of the cycle. You want to document all these things. You want to make sure that, you know, things are notated. Like if this happened on this day, you know, keep that track record. Because so much of what perpetuates narcissistic abuse is you're made to feel crazy, you're made to feel gaslit, you're made to feel like, well, maybe this is actually my fault, maybe I do deserve to be treated this way. But if you can actually, not just for like being able to like document everything that's happened to you, but just for your own sanity to like look back and say, oh yeah, I was mistreated all of these times, I'm not the crazy one.
Yeah. Okay, so what about the cycle of abuse? Is there anything that you want to, you know, let us know about that so that we can look for it, you know, look for our relationships and see how that operates? Or do you not buy into that? Like, in every situation is different. Like, what is your thoughts on detecting like abusive behavior? Because sometimes you get in these abusive relationships and you get in this pattern.
It does happen.
And it's hard to like recognize that you are being abused sometimes.
Yeah. Narcissists tend to follow a cycle. You know, there's this like idealization phase, you know, they love you so much, the love bombing, you know, you're great, you're wonderful, I love you so much. Hey, why don't you move in together? And then you're like slowly chipping away at their support network. You're isolating them. You're making it so that, you know, you've got them where you want them. And then let's say they do leave, they do break away. Like that is a wound to the narcissist, and they're not okay with that. You know, if you leave them, then they take that personally. And so they will often try to like pull you back in. And so they'll try to start the cycle over, be like, you know, they'll put on the act, you know, they'll wine you, dine you.
Yeah. Okay, so love bombing, and then I think the thing that is really interesting is like, what are some of the ways that and feel free to take the conversation in a different direction if you think it would be more productive. What are some of the things that we would expect to see Tectone do going forward toward the victims of his abuse now that some of them are starting to come forward?
The strongest thing that I would say is his ability to like isolate people and just the influence that he has over them and the ability to like control the narrative. Like everyone else is crazy, you know, they're just out to get me, they're just haters, you know, but you know that it's not like that. You know that I'm not like that. You know, they're all just out to get me. They all just, you know, they try to get you to buy what they're selling.
Yeah. 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 All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? I think we've kind of covered a lot of it. Do you have any other thoughts or things that you've been discussing on your stream that might be relevant? Like maybe there's a VOD recently or something you're planning in the future for people to watch?
Well, today we're talking about toxicity. We're doing a presentation on toxicity today. And then coming up soon, we're going to do a presentation on the ADHD epidemic and why it is probably a capitalism problem. So that's probably one that you'll find interesting.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think one of the things I really enjoy about the Brain Domain stream is that you're willing to take on the sacred cows, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, in psychiatry and psychology in our society, everything has to be always individualized. And there's something called like shitty life syndrome, you know, where it's, you know, oh, you're depressed. And it's like, well, yeah, you can't afford rent. Yeah, you're depressed. You're sick. You know, like you're suffering, you know, oppression from an abusive relationship. It's like if things are bad, things are happening to you. It's actually well adjusted to feel bad.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And we have this, and we kind of deny the role of structural things in society. And I think that you've done a really good job of marrying like,
Well, thank you.
critiques and tactics for helping us deal with some of the psychological problems we have, but also not losing sight of the structural causes for some of those outcomes, right?
Right. And like I thought a lot of therapists will report this as well. It's like they'll be talking with somebody about their depression, and then it's like, well, you have completely valid reasons to feel depressed, and they have nothing to do with you. It's all structural. You know, like you're having to work 3 jobs, you're having to, you know, you don't have health care, you can't afford childcare, you can't afford to fix your car, you know, it's like those things should depress you. And you can't really like talk through that because it's a structural issue.
So everybody, if you enjoyed the conversation, and thank you so much. Do you want to shill anything else?
Oh, thank you for having me on. I'm about to go live here myself. I go live at 1 p.m. Central, but you wanted me to talk, so I came on to visit.
All right, beautiful. Thank you,
Thanks
Joshua,
for having me.
coming
Thanks
on.
for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you all, chat. You were all wonderful. You all look so beautiful today. Thank you.
All righty. Well, thanks for coming on.
Mike,
I'll see you soon.
I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you for saying it back.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.